My name is Jeremy Park. I'm the CEO of City Current. I have the honor of working with the two individuals who you will be seeing and hearing from. So DataFax and eBiz Solutions are both partners in City Current, and they've come up with an amazing technology, a collaboration on their end, a partnership to bring Safely Back to Work, a mobile platform together, and to bring it to all of you. And you will see soon that this is perfect for companies, for nonprofits, for healthcare organizations, for schools. And this is an opportunity to really leverage technology to make sure that health and safety for your team, your customers, your students, that remains the top priority. So we are honored to have you join us. We'll give it just a little bit longer because the numbers continue to rise. But once again, use the chat box at the bottom. Tell us right now where you're logging in from, your home, your office, vacation, where you are in the world. We've seen some pretty cool cities so far, but use the chat box, use the Q&A. Once we get going, you can ask lots of questions. We'll make sure and integrate the questions in. I'll be monitoring those. We'll also do a Q&A at the end, so we have plenty of opportunities. Wow, so there we go, to make sure that everyone is engaged. So come on in, get settled in, and then we'll introduce Lisa, who will then introduce Sridhar in just 1 second. We'll give everybody, there we go, Nashville, nice. Our numbers continue to rise. Give about 1 more minute. Here in our area, at least it's a beautiful hot day. So I hope it's beautiful where you are in the world. All right. Memphis, there we go. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. So once again, my name is Jeremy Park. I'm CEO of City Current. We're honored to be able to host this webinar as we talk about Safely Back to Work. It's a mobile platform. I had the opportunity to interview Lisa and Sridhar and talk about it for the radio show, and really amazing in terms of what the technology allows for: access to resources, trackability, transparency. There's so much that goes into this. And obviously, as all of us go back into the workplace, as we go back into stores and restaurants and schools, health and safety is the top priority. So that's what this mobile platform is all about. With that, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Lisa May with DataFax, and she'll talk about their partnership with eBiz Solutions, and then she'll introduce Sridhar, who will talk all about the Safely Back to Work mobile platform. So Lisa May is Senior Vice President of Strategic Solutions with DataFax. Lisa, take it away.
Thanks, Jeremy. For over 30 years, DataFax has provided background screening solutions to employers of all sizes and of all industries across the nation. It was a perfect fit for us to partner with eBiz. We've already partnered with them in the past, and we trust them. We know their expertise, we know their technology, and it was a natural fit for us to partner, since we have employers of all sizes asking us, what are other people doing? How are people going back to work? What are the solutions out there? So we decided to partner with eBiz's Safely app, and I'd like to introduce you to Sridhar. Sridhar has been a good friend of ours for many, many years. He has been helping businesses understand and implement digital transformation for their companies for over 23 years. This empowers businesses to innovate and build efficient processes, which increases their bottom line and paves the way toward growth. He holds degrees in architecture, city planning, and computer programming. He is certified in design thinking from MIT, Sloan School of Management, and he is certified through MIT CSAIL, Artificial Intelligence, I always get that wrong, in implications for business strategy. Welcome, Sridhar.
Thank you, Lisa. Welcome, everybody. I think this is a perfect timing for everyone, and we all know that nobody has expected this pandemic to hit, and everybody is trying to figure out on a daily basis, right, how we will improve our businesses. So what we have done from eBiz is, so we have been through the same thing, right? So we immediately moved everybody into work from home. And then after we got used to it, now we are saying, okay, how can businesses come back to work? Because it is not going to be the same thing again. So based on that, and then we interviewed a lot of companies, a lot of our partners, and then we figured out what are the things that they really feel worried about. So based on all those feedback, we said, okay, let us build a technology, because we are a technology company. So that's what we do on a daily basis, is help companies solve problems. And this is like a huge problem right now we all have. So we said, okay, let us get in and help companies to do, which also helps us as a company, for us to safely get back to our work. So what I'm going to talk today is about how we have built and what are the thought process behind what we have done. And if you have any questions, like Jeremy said, you can put it in Q&A, and we will definitely answer at the end. So with that, I'm going to start the presentation. So as we are starting slowly transitioning back to our new normal, right? Companies have to, first thing, they have to make sure they're ensuring employees feel confident, and they feel that they're in the healthy environment is being provided for them. So that they feel safe, so they're focusing on their work. So that is the most important thing for the employees. So as that's happening, so employers have to start thinking about, okay, do they have something in place to do a daily checks, right? So risk screening in place. Are they able to keep employees in the safe distance, right? Do you have corporate policy to answer any COVID-19 related questions? And also understanding about the guidelines, which we all know that guidelines are changing so quickly, right? So they're very fluid right now. So making sure that we make sure that our employees understand the guidelines. So it's very, very important for us. So those are the 4 things we got to make sure that our employees know about it. And then employers also should be very confident that their employees feel confident and they're in a healthy environment is provided for them. So for the employers, it's also important to make sure they're tracking and making sure they have all the information in place, so that if something comes up, you have complete information to make sure that, okay, this is what we have done on a daily basis and this is what has happened. So thinking about all of those scenarios, what we have built is the Safely Back to Work platform. So there's also, we have Safely Back to School platform too. So that's going to help you in navigating the reopening challenges, right? So it is a mobile technology platform. So it prioritizes the safety of the employees, and also keeping in all the relevant guidelines that are changing constantly. So the areas we're going to, this app is going to touch is the daily assessment, right? So it also have wellness assessment, because that's becoming big, because we want to understand how the employees are feeling, not just on the health from a like if they're feeling good, if they're feeling stressed out, right? From an emotional perspective. So that's another thing we have implemented in this. And shift management, if they're coming in shifts now, that's going to come later on in the platform. And incident management, if people feel unsafe or if they see something, they can quickly report that to the company. And notification center, where the company admin can quickly notify about things. If some things are changing, something is happening, so they can be notified. The unified control center would help the admin to manage all the notifications, to manage the health assessments, wellness assessments. The whole platform could be managed through that, from the user's perspective and the visitors and vendors. So those are the areas we have picked, which we thought are the very, very important aspects of running a business. So how does this whole thing work, right? So first, for the employees, visitors, and vendors, so they will have an app that they need to download, right? So, and there'd be unique URL or a QR code you can download and put it in at the front desk, or you can send it by email to all your employees, as they can download the app. And the employer admin would have a backend web application, so they can use it through a tablet or a desktop or a laptop, so they can manage everything. One thing we have made sure is for just the privacy and security. We are not putting this in the app stores, either Google or Apple. It is going to be within your organization. So you will have ability to send it to the people that you want send this app to. So you control the whole distribution of the app. Then, so we also we are integrating with Active Directory, so that you just do a same sign in with sign in that you do at work. So it makes it easy for you so that you don't have to re-register with the new usernames and passwords. Also, we gave another ability if you don't have an Active Directory or if you chose not to use Active Directory for the integration, you can also use import your user file from a CSV format or an Excel format to get people registered into the app. So we made it very, very easy and seamless for the adoption of the app. And then the people, the employees and the visitors and all, they have a customized dashboard. So the dashboard has, you can see the green, you are safe. That is the health assessment that you want your employees to take, right? So you don't want them to take when they come to work. You want to take them when they're not even at work, right? So when they're at home, probably a couple of hours before they want to come to work. So there is the assessment that they can take that would tell whether they're safe to come to work that day, or if they have to stay at home, or if they're at risk of infection, and what is the next thing that they have to do if they're at safe. So when somebody is coming to the office, that's what they show up, and they show the app, and then if people see the green, and they'll immediately see the date and time too. So we know that they have actually have done that day. But also admin can see at the back end the people that have taken, that people that are safe, people that are not safe, people that are at a higher risk. So they also have access to everybody within the company who have taken that day and where they stand. So there's easy check-in, check-out just for the constant distance tracking. And then you also have the wellness indicator, just it tells like how they're feeling, right? So this one doesn't need to happen every day. So you can set up when you want them, the frequency of when they can take the wellness. And below we gave them announcements where you can quickly do some kind of announcements telling that, oh, it's, hey, this Thursday, make sure you do this, or Friday, you do this. Or if something changes, make sure you tell them, hey, there's a change in the guidelines. Now you can just go into the guidelines and please take a look at all the new guidelines. Then they have a menu where they can see their announcements, they can see the guidelines, they can see all the notifications, they can report incidents, and they can also have a help where if something happens, you will, as a company, you will give what is the help thing. So who they need to call, who's the email, and what is the person's name. So you can add all of this information. So this is something that it would look like, and you can customize this message. That would be on the onboarding. When we onboard, we'll customize your message. So when the questions have been answered, and then they have something that they're safe, then it says you are safe. If their infection risk is low, but you want them to be at home just for a couple of days, or they want to check, and if symptoms are changing. So you will say, hey, please stay at home. Your infection risk is low, but your infection risk is high. If some of the head, let's say they have high temperature, and they say that, okay, now I have high temperature and I feel nausea, whatever the guidelines say, the symptoms checker, if we hit the higher point, then immediately you say that your infection risk is high. But also you have that information from an admin perspective, so you can immediately check on that employee too. So it makes it very easy for you to check on the employees or even visitors. So like I said, you can customize your assessment. So you can follow CDC guidelines and put the symptoms checkers that way, or you can also add your own. If you want to say, if you have traveling, if you have a policy within your company, if you travel to certain areas, you want to add those questions and say, now, okay, if you have been to certain areas, you cannot come to work for 10 days or 14 days or whatever you want to do. You can give a weight to those questions, and based on it, it gives them the information whether they need to come to work or not. And like I said, like help, you can put your phone number, your couple of phone numbers, and also in a helpline email ID or any other information you want to put in the help that people need to know if they're seeking for help within the company. And then the consent-based distance tracing, this is like if you want to turn on, what you can do is once it's turned on, people, when they come to work, they will turn it on, and you're only tracking them while they're at work and only with other employees. It's not about like if they go somewhere else to restaurant, and then we are not tracking them with other people around them. So it is only for people that have this app. So since all employees will have the app, so if something happens to one employee, if you feel that they're not safe, so you can immediately think about, okay, who are the people that are around them, right, in the last 10 days, 5 days, or 14 days, right? So, and the distance you can tell, let me figure out who is in 6 feet distance or 10 feet distance, and you can just get those people's information, so you can intimate them if you have to. Whatever your policy says, you can follow through that policy. And again, like we know that people don't want to be tracked, so the people like they'll remove the app when they leave work, and then again tomorrow they will add the app again. Instead of doing that, we're giving them that freedom. Hey, you turn off your tracing, contact tracing, if you don't want right after work, and the ones that shut it down, we can't trace them anymore. So that we are giving them so that they don't have to delete the app and reinstall the app all the time. So this makes it easy for them to do it. And data safety is very, very important, right? So we are encrypting all the data. We're going to use 256 key encryption key to encrypt the data. We're also doing an auto refresh every 10 minutes. It's going to refresh their user temporary ID. And so that makes it much more hack proof. People cannot just hack by knowing their ID. That's generally how a lot of people hack into it. And with the data, the employer has the whole control of the data, and we are hosting with Amazon Web Services. So it's all completely compliant with everything that compliances the company needs. The Amazon Web Services is providing that. So how are the features work, right? So it is a white label, so you will have your company information there. And then the mobile apps are for the employees, for the staff, partners, visitors, and customers. So they have, then the employee staff, they will have the health assessment, self-test, the wellness assessment test, and then they have consent-based distance tracing. So those are the 3 things that we track. Right, and they also have like incident management and other things. We talked about notifications and all. So we got like 3 different roles for an app. So one is the business admin. So this is the admin that controls the whole app from a user's perspective and questionnaires and everything. And then the office user, which is an employee, staff and everybody, and then the vendors and visitors. So they also have whoever is going to touch, right, come to into your location, they need to have this app so that you are just making sure everything is right with them before they get into the work. So employees, so they have a sign up, right? So we are either integrating with their Active Directory or by the CSV file with the email ID. So we are making authentication, 2-step authentication, so that we are making sure it's the right person that's using this. And quick view before they get into the app, a quick view of the guidelines so that they can accept that, and then they can get into it and start their health assessments, wellness assessments, and they can use the app with incident reporting and look at all the dashboard with all the information that they have, and go private and go live button, which is going to be added soon for the consent distance tracing. From a business admin, the person that's actually going to admin the whole thing, you can see that the dashboard is going to have, who are the people that have, how many people have taken the self-assessment that day, right? So the health, and how many people have taken the wellness assessment, and you can see the graphs of how many taken and where they are, right? How many are all safe, how many people showed low risk, how many people showed high risk. So you can see that. And also you can see how many people have turned on the contact tracing, how many people haven't turned it on the contact tracing. And you can see all the notifications, incident reports that are coming in, so that you can manage those incident reports. You can manage all the questions, self-assessments, all the assessments, questionnaires, you can manage it from the dashboard. You can manage all the users from the dashboard too. And then the business admin has all the mental wellness questionnaires that they can change, and the health self-assessment questionnaires, and the standard COVID back to work guidelines that could be the federal or state or local, or the company also guidelines. You can add them also the guidelines, and you can constantly change them too. So again, like in the settings, we are helping them to integrate with Active Directory, or they can import users. And then the wellness indicator reminder schedule. So you can always set up a schedule for a week, or if you want to do twice a month, you can do twice a month. If you want to do multiple times in a month, you can set up the reminder schedule so that people will take that wellness questionnaire. So in the visitors, so visitors has a very less information on this. So all we are trying to do is, hey, we're getting that information so that we protect them. If something happens, we let them know that, okay, this has happened. You were in the company during this time, close to 6 feet distance with somebody that might be at high risk. So just to inform them. So, but also you are making sure that you are collecting the data. Like if something happens, you have all the reporting and all the information about all the reports. So if 3 months from now, right, so something happens, you can get back to today and see, okay, what has happened that day, who were infected or who were at a high risk, like who are the visitors that have come. And you're showing the documentation that you have taken every precaution that needs to be taken, making sure that your employees and your visitors are safe. So that's what this is going to help you with. And then they will have a self-assessment, and then we will ask them to take the automatic contact tracing for them. So that's pretty much what our app really does. So it really pretty much covers everything that you want to be safe, not the testing and all. So we have seen that, like temperature, if temperature is one thing that you're taking it to your company, so that would be one of the self-assessment. Have you taken temperature, and what's the temperature? So you can ask that question, and you can add that part of this particular questionnaire. So you are also tracking that information. And if you have any other things that you're doing, so you can add that part of the assessments. With that, I think I would be ready for any questions.
Yeah, we already have some questions coming in, so I will ask some of these and let you or Lisa answer them. So the first one is, how is risk determined? And let's start there. So we'll kind of take them in pieces. How is risk determined?
Yeah, so the risk determination is like, you can either follow the symptoms checker from CDC and use those as a baseline to set up your each question, how they answer. For each answer, you set up a weight for that question. It could be 10, right? If it's a 10, if you're answering a couple of them 10, then you know that they're at a high risk. So for each of the question, you set up the weight. And I think it would be beneficial to follow the CDC guidelines. But if not, you can follow the state or local guidelines on the health guidelines.
Next is related to that. Can you force on contact tracing for all employees? So is that something that you can mandate with the tracing for employees while they're at the office?
Yeah, I mean, so that's what you have this. So they need to turn on, so they can turn on, and you can see from the back end, from admin side, all the people that have turned on. If somebody turned off, you know that they have turned off. So you will intimate them, you'll notify them that they have. So the quick answer is yes, you can do that.
Okay. Can you document the temperature as part of the wellness assessment? And I think you kind of answered that, but can you document the temperature as part of
Yes,
the wellness
yeah,
assessment?
that would be part of the health assessment question. And again, like for the previous question, you said like, yeah, we can force people to turn it on and keep the contact tracing so that they cannot turn it off too.
And then, are these applications ADA and EEOC compliant?
So right now, from what we have seen, we are making sure that they're compliant with everything. And especially in the ADA, I think the ADA compliance, they can do it because the phone comes with the ADA compliance. All the phones are ADA compliant. If they want to speak, they can speak through the phone instead of typing anything.
Okay. Lisa, give us your perspective on your end. You're muted right now, but go ahead and give us your perspective on why this is important, because obviously a big part of your world is dealing in HR with companies, and this is a huge piece of of protecting the health and security and the safety and everything. And so talk about it from your perspective of what this means for DataFax. And I know obviously for you and your team, but really for your clients and those that you're working with, what this means for them.
Sure, Jeremy. We're getting calls almost every day about what are we hearing out there? What are other people doing? HR professionals are making decisions now. They're trying to figure out how can they open their doors back up. And we've just felt like eBiz and the Safely app was a perfect solution. The old way of doing pen and paper is not efficient. It's hard to implement. There's no tracking. It's, you know, it's just very old school. So we think about what is the new normal. There is really no new normal, but we think also about long term. I know this past January, we had a terrible flu season, and in our office alone, we had many, many people out at one time. So Sridhar has said that this is a long-term app that can be used not just for right now for opening the doors, but for other types of flu seasons, if we have a second wave, heaven forbid. But it's such an easy way to implement and have it right there on your phone. And that risk scoring with the red, yellow, green, it just makes it so easy for people to be able to see that they are in a yellow or red zone, and then the HR professionals can take the actions that they need to do.
Talk about onboarding and what that looks like. Sridhar, obviously you mentioned it's a white label platform. It's a white label process. So working with each company, each organization, each school to specify and customize, but talk about the length of time onboarding and basically between, when somebody says, hey, let's do this, and then when they can actually roll it out, what that time frame looks like.
Sure. Before I answer that, I just want to bring in a very good point that Lisa brought. So the whole idea of this app is not one-time thing. So this is going to be in companies for long periods of time. So we are thinking about the base, getting from feedback as people use. We want to add a lot more features to it. For example, if somebody feels sick, so we can also use a video platform through this that they can directly connect to their nurse, right, or to the doctors if they have any kind of relation with their clinic. So we can connect so that they can directly have a chat with their providers. So we are thinking about this as more a long-term solution rather than a short-term for one-time thing, like for example in flu season or any other things that you can just change the questionnaire to fit that particular season, and you can use this app. And coming back to the onboarding, so onboarding will take, once we get signed and once we get some information, what are the content they need to do and everything, it takes about a week to onboard a client.
Another question that came in, is there any tie-in to CDC data to indicate users that may be at risk by location? So in other words, if you are going to a certain area, can that be kind of factored in based on locale and geography?
Not right now. So, but you can add that as a question, right? So have you traveled to this? If you write in, right, let's say CDC comes tomorrow and says, here are the areas that if you travel, you are at higher risk. So you can immediately, you can add as a question, have you traveled to these locations, right? So, but we don't directly integrate with CDC data. But you can always put it in your questionnaire as that's one of the questions. Now you can keep changing those questions.
I mean, I think that's part of, to your point, the fact that it is a customizable solution. You can tweak it based on what your individual needs are and some of the different things. Like if you have a traveling team that's more mobile, especially like a sales team where you're doing a lot of traveling, you could integrate some of those questions in.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Are there any other questions? Let us know if there's any other questions. You can put them in either the Q&A, I'm monitoring those, or the webinar chat. So either one of those. How confident are you about the cell service being able to track the 6 feet distance? That's a good question.
So the whole idea how this works is your phones would act as your, so once they turn on the whole the location, right? So once they turn it on, so the location will turn it on and the phone will act as a Bluetooth at that point. So we will immediately, when the phone comes to a certain, we are tracking it every second, right? So if there's another phone that comes in, the Bluetooth technology it will calculate the distance and get it to it, right? So they don't need, this is not on GPS or anything, it's on Bluetooth technology. So when the phones are close by, they can immediately connect. And so we store that data. So we know that who is being closer to a particular distance with another phone. So this is from phone to phone, not person to person, right? So if you leave your phone on your desk and move away and somebody comes close by, that it thinks that it has actually met that with that person. So there are a few things that we need to think about that. So
That's a good point too, in the sense of almost reframing it where you have to have your cell phone on you when you go
yeah,
places, because that becomes your security blanket in a way
yeah.
to monitor and protect yourself. Jeff asks, how is the software priced?
So the pricing is dependent on the number of employees, right? So based on employees, we have a scaled approach, and I think Lisa can definitely send the pricing sheet to whoever is interested. I mean, you can reach us on the phone number, it's there, or an email, and Lisa and team will definitely contact and send the pricing sheets.
Yeah, sure. I could follow up with Jeff and send that to him. I also wanted to say this is great for schools. I know schools are really battling whether or not to send the students back to school, and how are they going to open. Sridhar, this is great for schools as well, right?
Yeah, so we also have, we tweak a little bit for schools. So we also have for schools also, because schools has little few different things like about how the parents needs to do it for their kids, because not everybody has a cell phone, right? So the elementary and middle schoolers probably would not. So we also added that feature for parents to do the assessment for the kids every day. When they're coming close by to the school, they have to open up their phone and show for each kid if they're secured. So if there's green, I mean, if even if one kid is red, they all have to turn back and go home.
Go ahead and talk about your contact information. What we'll do is, I'm responding to some of the chats, but go ahead and tell them your contact information. What we'll do for everyone who at least logged in and we have your email, we'll send you a thank you for attending email. And we'll put this presentation, we'll download this and flip it into a video, put it up on YouTube. We'll share that link. We'll also share probably the link of them on the radio show that we did recently. So that'll give you a deep dive too. And then we'll put their contact information and some of the other materials. So that way you have everything in one place in an email. Thank you for attending email that you can access. So we'll do that. But go ahead, Sridhar and Lisa, and just tell them how to get in touch with you individually.
Yeah, I mean, we have that right on the slide. So the info@ebiz.net. So that will help us to get to us. And then the phone number will directly go to DataFacts. So they can pick up and they can take it from there.
Yeah, we've been doing demos almost every day with all the different people that are asking us different questions, and they're very intrigued and really want to see how it works. So give us a call or email us, and we'll set up a time to demo it for you.
All right. So let us know if there's not any other questions. What we'll do is we'll just put this in the thank you for attending email. And that way, if you do have questions, you can reach out to them individually, and obviously they can answer any questions you have. So in the essence of being productive, we want to thank everyone for coming on, joining us for the webinar, and we'll go ahead and let you get back to work and get back to life. So Sridhar, Lisa, thank you for spending your time with us and sharing about this. Definitely appreciate everybody for tuning in for our Safely Mobile or Safely Back to Work mobile platform webinar. So we'll see you again soon, and you'll be having the thank you for attending email in your inbox very soon as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.